In this video, I'm going to go over how to do a quick oil change at home on a Ford F-150. Now, the one I have right here is a 2018 2.7 liter EcoBoost engine. That is the V6 version of this engine, but I think they're pretty much all the same. This oil filter mounted up here. Now you're going to need it. They make a tool for this, but actually what I have is a 1/1/16 socket, and you will need a torque wrench. I do use a torque wrench. I torque wrench this around about 22 to 24 Newton meters of torque to torque it down. And the oil that I use is the Motorcraft, which is the synthetic blend, the 5W30. It needs 6 quarts, and the oil filter that goes in is these cartridge oil filters, and it's the FL2062A. There is a new set of rings in here, so you're going to have to replace those rings, and I will show you how to replace those rings. You're going to need a big oil pan because this thing looks like a fire hose when it goes off. You are going to need to take this cover off right here. This is like a type of wind cover. I just use a number 8mm, and it's these 4 bolts right here. You guys see the 4 bolts. So crawling up under the vehicle. So that cover goes, you can see where that cover goes here and there, and the actual oil pops out right there. So y'all see that plug right there? You're gonna have to get that plug, and it doesn't take much. You don't really need a wrench for it. I think I can do it with my fingers. I'm gonna get some gloves on, pull that out, but as soon as you do, oil's just gonna go flying everywhere, so get ready to go. That's why I went and got a big pan. So let me go ahead, get everything set. I'm gonna take the oil cap off, and I'm gonna check the dipstick and make sure and see kind of where we're at, and then we'll go ahead and leave the cap off, and then we'll pop that off. That way it can kind of drain a lot faster. Let it drain, then we'll take the filter off. So let's do that now. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is take the cap off. Remove this cap to try to make it a little less pressure in there. Now let's check the oil and see where we're at on this thing. So to check the oil, it's right here behind this brake, or beside the brake booster there. The oil doesn't look bad. I keep my oil change pretty good. You can see right there. So you guys see the little yellow cap right there. I don't want to keep the camera close to this, but it's not bad. If you need to, get a pair of little needle nose pliers. I got a little needle nose, put a little bit of a half twist on it. Got it kind of loose. Now you're just gonna, now see, it's already out, and then I'm just gonna pull it. And now I do wear safety glasses, just so you guys know, because this might go everywhere. Now I'm just gonna start kind of pulling out a little bit. You guys see it draining on my hand there. And then just like that. So y'all see that? There's the actual cap right there. I'm gonna put it right there. Let this drain. That's exactly what I was talking about, why I have this long pan right here. So it comes out pretty quick. It's not overly bad looking oil. You can see it's a little dark, but it's not too bad. I'm gonna change gloves. We'll go up and remove the oil filter while this is draining. So we're just gonna take this off very slowly. It doesn't take much. I do have the torque specs on this, so it's not super tight on these things. I'm gonna let it depressurize a little bit there because it is still draining. Once I got it loose, I can turn it a little bit by my hand. Now you're gonna have a little bit of oil that's gonna spill out right down here. Let me move you a little closer. Y'all see that? So let's just go real slow with this. I'm just gonna loosen it up, let it sit there a little bit, let it drain some more, then I'll pull this off and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've just got it kind of hand loose in here. Now this has a rod that goes down through the middle, and that's why it's still holding in place. You're just gonna pull it out, and that rod should pop loose, right like that. You guys see that rod that I was talking about? Now there's a seal on here you're gonna have to replace too. And then this just comes out just like that. There it is. That doesn't look too bad. We're gonna look through this and see if there's any shavings or anything down in there. But you can see we've already drained out. Now I'm gonna clean up around that hole before I put the new one in. You guys see these rings right here? I'm gonna use a couple little picks and get these rings off, and a ring right there. So we have 2 new ones here and a one for the bottom there. And these actually look like the original, so they definitely need to be replaced. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get them off. If you can't get them off, you can also cut them off. But I've been able to get them off in the past, so it's not been that bad. You want to be careful with these threads and not score up the threads, or definitely don't break that end right there. These right here are not that bad. This is the one that's supposedly the worst, but we'll see. Try not to stick a hole through my finger with this stupid pick. There we go. Wasn't in bad shape. Now we're going to open our new ones here. These should be the exact same. So I got a little bit of oil on it. Yeah, those went right into place. Now this is going to be the hard one. So now what I'm going to do is get these little C-ring clamps, pliers here, see if we can open it up and get it on there a lot easier with using these things. Stretched it out a little bit with those, so that definitely helped. Looks like you just get that little pick down in there and then it just drops in. I just used a little straight pick right there and that went on there very smoothly. So you guys see that right there? The rings are on there. Now what I'm going to do is make sure that my threads and all that's clean. Get a little oil around there. Now this can go in either way, so there's no front or back, but I'm going to put the words facing down just like that. That's popped in there. Now I'm just going to slide that in, then torque it down, and we are done. So now that I have this, I'm just going to verify once again all of my O-rings are nice and kind of in place. That's fully seated down on there. Now you're just going to pop that on there, and I want to finger tighten it till I start seeing the rings disappear there. Once I get it tightened down, let's go ahead and let's get our torque wrench. We are going to go torque settings 24 Newton meters on the torque. Right there we are seated. 24 Newton meters. We are set. We'll put this all back in. We're going to go underneath, put the plug back in and put the bottom on, and then we will start putting oil in here. Check my plug. Now what I'm checking for is make sure the seal on the plug looks good. Clean all of that off. I do have some isopropyl alcohol under here. Let's move this out of the way. That is a lot of oil. It's almost filled my pan up. Make sure I get this all nice and clean. I want to verify everything clean on that. Spray a little alcohol in there. Now this doesn't really have a torque spec on it. You're just going to actually put it in there, pop it into place. That's it. It's locked in there, which is kind of weird to me. I'm so used to putting a wrench on something and turning it. So you guys see that right there, how it's up under there. I'm just cleaning all of this area off. Pushes in and then it's one turn and it locks into place. Okay, there's a couple of screws right here. So the first one I'm going to get is right here in this edge. I'm just going to kind of start it. I'm not going to tighten it down. There's that one just to kind of hold it in place. Then I'm going to line this one up over here and I'm going to finger tighten it. Easy peasy with one of these. Definitely make sure you use a funnel. One thing I like to do is go ahead and put all 5 quarts of this in, and then I check it one more time to see where we're at, and then I'll put the rest in. I'll put the 6 quart in after I do this one. Let's see where we're at with just that in there. I'm on pretty level ground right here too. Always clean out around the oil hole. Clean up my funnel. Check this cap right here. Make sure your ring's all nice and clean. That looks good. Very easy to do right there. Now let's check the oil and see what we look like. There we go. I don't know how well you can see it in the camera because that is super clean oil. We are right on the dot. So this thing did take exactly 6 quarts. So one other thing that I do is like I drive it for a little bit, and maybe my next fuel, next time I gas up, I check it again. I just do a quick check and then verify it's all got oil in it. And then I look up under it in the morning before I leave for work and check and verify that there's not any oil leaks up under it or anything. Make sure your dipstick's down in there tight, just going through, making sure all this is tight, and we are good to go. Okay, now once I have all the oil changed, now what I want to do is reset the oil light. Let me show you how you do it on this Ford. So I'm going to go into the settings. We go over to the display. You can see display mode. Scroll down to settings, advanced settings, vehicle, lights, locks, oil, reset right there. Hit that. You can see I was very close. Hold it down. 100% oil reset light has been done. So this one has it. I still go ahead and add a little sticker up here just to give me a good idea that the oil, when it's supposed to be changed. But now we are back at 100%, so we'll let this roll. All right, there it is, everybody. So what I'm going to do now is I convert this, I transfer this over to an oil can that I have. I have like a other oil can with a lid on it that I can tighten down, and I take it down to the parts store. They recycle this oil, so always do that. Don't just pour it out. So get your oil, recycle it. I go back, I verify everything's cleaned up. I check under it, make sure I don't have any leaks or anything like that. And just to recap what I had to do here. So one thing that these help with, they help stretch that out a little bit just so it pops down on there. These little picks I think are a mandatory. Motorcraft, I highly recommend this. Use exactly what's in there. But honestly, you could pretty much use whatever like you think that you need. I've seen mixed opinions on this right here, but I'm sticking with what Ford recommends. You will need a 8mm socket. If you got a ratchet drive like this DeWalt one right here, I recommend that. It makes it a lot faster. You can, the specs on this was 24 Newton meter, 18 foot-pounds, between 16 and 18 foot-pounds, or around about 22 to 24 Newton meters. Do have you a torque wrench, but you can, if you're good enough, you can hand tighten it and just kind of like figure out what it is. And I changed my oil on this truck right here between 3,000 and 5,000 miles pretty much religiously. I do not skimp on oil changes. I can kind of get away with a little bit other things. This thing's it's right at 90,000 miles on this engine, and it has been running like a top. I am going to go add spark plugs to it. That's a job I might do in another video, or I might get a shop to do it. One thing I am going to get a shop to do is do a transmission flush and change on it, and a radiator flush and change. So I will have those done. So yeah, and you guys leave in the comments below if there's something you've seen me doing in this video that I might do a little better, because you know what, we're always trying to improve. So yeah, there it is, everybody. That's all I got on the oil change for a Ford F-150 EcoBoost. See you all in the next video.